Yeah, Dev, and thank you for joining us today. So let's continue our discussion. So, how does this initiative revive India's ancient tradition of global cultural exchange? India's history is filled with sages and scholars who carried knowledge across borders and seas. The Bodhidharma from Tamil Nadu to Japan and Sanskrit scholars to Southeast Asia. This academy revives that same lineage. Today's students are the new age ambassadors of Dharma and peace. By learning Japanese, they continue the spiritual dialogue that began centuries ago. Gurudev reminds us that India's gift to the world was not wealth but wisdom. This initiative rekindles that spirit, sharing knowledge through compassion, not competition. The Vedic Dhamma Sansthan views this collaboration as a continuation of the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam tradition. The world is one family. Language academies like this serve as modern day Gurukulas, where cross cultural values are taught with reverence. Ancient rishis traveled with mantras. Today, our youth travel with languages imbued with the same intention to uplift consciousness. Thus, the project reawakens India's role as a global teacher. Now, how do you interpret Gurudev's observation that Japanese and Japa share the same spiritual root? And it's a profoundly poetic insight. The word Japa in Sanskrit means to repeat the same divine name, and then Japan's name symbolically begins with that vibration. Gurudev was showing us how language carries spiritual resonance beyond geography. Both Japa and Japan signify purity, focus, and repetition, the essence of meditation and discipline. By linking these, Gurudev reveals the hidden unity between two cultures devoted to perfection through practice. Linguistically and philosophically, Gurudev remarks bridges of Shabda Brahman, the divinity of sound with global culture. Japa purifies the mind to repetition. Japan purifies the world to discipline. Both share a sacred vibration of order and mindfulness. When Indian youth chant Japanese words mindfully, they engage in japa not of mantra but of understanding. Such awareness transforms ordinary language study into adhyatmic sadhana, a path of self realization. Now, how has Gurudev's blessing influenced the spirit of this academy? At the moment Gurudev chanted Om Namah Pranvarthaya Shuddha Jnana Murte, the vibration consecrated the space. The invocation translates to salutations, to the embodiment of pure knowledge, the very essence of the sacred sound Om. Everyone felt a surge of serenity. Gurudev's presence transforms institutions into sanctuaries. His blessings infuse the academy with the purpose of service, not profit. Every student feels guided, protected, and elevated by that silent grace. It's this invisible strength that sustains the entire mission. Now, in Vedic culture, no educational venture begins without the Guru's anugraha or grace. The moment Gurudev blessed the academy, it gained spiritual legitimacy. Knowledge flows effortlessly where divine intention exists. The Sansthan recognizes this as a modern Vidya Yagga, a sacrifice for knowledge consecrated by mantra and purpose. Gurudev's blessing ensures that every word taught here becomes a step toward enlightenment. Now, how does the academy foster respect for both Indian and Japanese traditions simultaneously? The respect is woven into the fabric of our pedagogy. Students bow before entering classes as Japanese culture teaches the re or reverence. Simultaneously, they chant a Sanskrit verse of gratitude to their teachers. The synthesis cultivates humility and grace. Festivals like Guru Purnima and Hanami cherry blossom viewing are celebrated together, showing that joy has no rationality and nationality. Gurudev often says, when we honor diversity, we discover unity. That is the Academy's guiding philosophy. Now, from the Vedic standpoint, honoring multiple traditions strengthens dharma. The Sansthan encourages comparative rituals. Students recite Gayatri Mantra and study Japanese Shinto prayers to see the universal light within all paths. Such exposure dissolves prejudice and revives the essence of Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. Truth is one expressed in many ways. Thus, the academy becomes a model for global coexistence. Now, how is the art of living ensuring inclusivity and accessibility in this program for youth from all backgrounds? Gurudev's vision is that education must never be a privilege, it's a birthright. The academy offers scholarship for students from economically weaker sections, especially those from rural areas. Online modules allow learners from distant states to participate. The learning material is available in English, Hindi, and regional languages. Additionally, emotional well-being sessions are integrated to help first-time learners overcome anxiety. The program says inclusivity reflects Gurudev's teaching the world becomes one family when every voice is heard. The Sansthan ensures that social equity remains central. It promotes gender balance, equal opportunities, and moral education alongside skill training. We also collaborate with rural schools and universities to identify talented youth who can benefit. The true inclusivity is not about numbers, it's about nurturing every student's potential with compassion and dignity. Now, what message does this initiative send to the international community about India's role in global education? This academy is India's declaration that education and spirituality can coexist in modern diplomacy by establishing a world class institution grounded in cultural values. India positions itself as a beacon of holistic education. Gurudev's model proves that language can be a peace building tool. The world sees India not merely as a service provider but as a consciousness provider. It's a message that our youth are ready to serve humanity, not just the market. Internationally, this initiative revives India's status as Jagadguru, the teacher of the world. It demonstrates how Vedic principles can inform contemporary education without losing relevance. The Sansan's partnership ensures that academic excellence merges with ethical grounding, showcasing a balanced global model where knowledge serves compassion. Now, how do the Japanese perceive this initiative from their cultural perspective? The response from Japan has been heartwarming. Japanese leaders appreciate Gurudev's efforts to blend language training with the mindfulness. They see it as a deeply aligned with the Zen values of simplicity, discipline, and serenity. Several Japanese companies and embassies have expressed their eagerness to collaborate. They believe Indian youth trained under Gurudev's guidance will bring not only skill but sincerity. From the Sansan's perspective, Japan uses collaboration as a return to share spiritual roots. Japanese monks recognize parallels between Sanskrit chants and Buddhist mantras. They feel that this initiative rekindles the ancient flame of Asian harmony. When cultures reconnected through shared reverence, true diplomacy begins not through documents but through devotion. Now, what's the long term vision behind the Art of Living Japanese Language Academy? Gurudev's vision extends beyond the immediate goal of language education. He envisions a future where this academy becomes a living bridge between India and Japan, not only for employment but also for spiritual, cultural, and humanitarian collaboration. The long term plan includes establishing exchange programs, meditation retreats in both nations, and centers for joint research on mindfulness and education. Gurudev dreams of a generation that can communicate across borders, grounded in compassion and cultural depth. In his words, when education unites the head, heart, and hands, the world becomes one home. The academy aims to produce such integrated human beings who will shape a peaceful and progressive planet. Now, from the Sanstan's perspective, the vision is dharmic globalization, spreading righteousness and harmony through shared learning. The academy will become a model institution for other countries to emulate, where language learning merges with value based living. The Sanstan plans to establish sister academies in Japan dedicated to Sanskrit and Indian philosophy, thereby completing the cycle of exchange. The ultimate vision is not just knowledge transfer but Atma Bodha, awakening global awareness through the lamp of wisdom. Now, how will this initiative impact India's youth demography in the coming decade? India has the largest youth population in the world. Many of them are skilled yet struggle with employability due to language and cultural barriers. To this initiative, thousands of young Indians will be trained in Japanese, giving them access to meaningful work abroad. But more importantly, they will gain a global mindset, learning discipline, mindfulness, and intercultural empathy. Gurudev says our youth must become peace ambassadors, not just professionals. By empowering youth with skills and spiritual strength, this program will redefine Indus as human capital for decades to come. The Vedic tradition has always seen youth as carriers of tapas or energy and transmission. When properly guided, their vigor becomes a divine force. The Sansan predicts that in 10 years, this initiative will produce a generation of culturally aware global citizens who embody both efficiency and ethics. The demographic dividend of India thus turn into a spiritual dividend for the world. Now, how can this academy serve as a model for other countries to adopt similar collaborations? The academy demonstrates how soft power, when grounded in spirituality, can become a force of development. Many nations face similar youth challenges, unemployment, stress, and lack of direction. By integrating language education with the meditation and ethical leadership, the Art of Living model offers a replicable blueprint. Gurudev's approach transcends national boundaries because it speaks to human consciousness. Other countries could easily adopt this format, whether learning Korean, French, or Arabic, blending cultural training with self development. The Sansthan views this initiative as a prototype for global cultural diplomacy. Just as Nalanda once welcomed scholars from all over Asia, modern India can now offer centers of integrated education. The combination of Vedic insight, technological precision, and cross cultural friendship is the need of this century. When nations educate not only minds but hearts, sustainable peace follows naturally. Now, how does Gurudev's teaching methodology influence the pedagogy of the academy? Gurudev's method emphasizes experiential learning, knowledge that touches the heart. Classes here are designed with that philosophy. Students learn through dialogue, role plays, storytelling, and reflection. Teachers act more like facilitators of awareness than transmitters of information. As Gurudev says, education is not filling the mind but awakening intelligence. Each module ends with silence or meditation, allowing the learning to settle deeply. This method helps a student retain not just words but wisdom. Traditional Vedic education followed Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasam, listening, reflecting, and internalizing. The academy follows the same triad. Modern pedagogy, when aligned with ancient methods, creates a complete learners. The Sansan supports this holistic model because it revives the lost essence of Gurukul education, discipline with delight, and knowledge with devotion. Now, what opportunities will arise for Indo Japan collaborations beyond employment? Beyond economic partnerships, we foresee immense potential in environmental education and cultural collaboration. Japan's ecological innovations and India's sustainable spiritual practices complement each other beautifully. Joint projects on meditation research, mental health, and ethical technology are already being discussed. Gurudev envisions a future where both nations collaborate not merely for profit but for planetary well-being. धरती और मन दोनों को स्वच्छ करो, purify both the earth and the mind. The Sansthan is planning interfaith dialogues, comparative scriptural studies, and heritage exchange programs between India and Japanese temples. The deeper aim is to revive Oriental unity, the collaboration of ancient Eastern civilizations as custodians of peace. Employment is the beginning, enlightenment is the destination. Now, how do you see spiritual education influencing global employability and ethics? In today's corporate world, as stress and burnout are rampant, companies increasingly recognize the need for mindful employees who balance productivity with peace. By training youth in meditation and ethical values, we prepare them for a leadership rooted in clarity and compassion. Gurudev says efficiency with empathy is excellent. Students from this academy will carry both technical skill and inner stillness, making them invaluable assets in any global organization. Now, ethics and employability are not opposites, they are allies. The Sansan advocates for including Dharma Siksha or value education alongside skill development. When employees embody virtues like honesty, punctuality, and harmony, their workplaces transform into sacred spaces of service. The world doesn't need just workers, it needs wise workers, and this academy is producing them. Now, how has the Japanese Language Academy been perceived and received by the art film community worldwide? The Global Art of Living family has welcomed this initiative with immense enthusiasm. Centers in Japan, the USA, and Europe have offered volunteer support for student exchange and mentorship. Alumni from Japan have even offered to conduct virtual sessions to help learners understand authentic Japanese expressions. Gurudev's followers see this as a tangible way to manifest his message of global harmony through practical education. The Academy has quickly become a symbol of how spirituality can translate into social impact. Now, the Sansthan notes with pride how the wider art of living community embodies the Sarvagya Hitaya. The welfare of all this unity across continents reflects the universal dharma Gurudev represents. When people from over 180 countries celebrate an initiative born in India, it proves that the world is ready for education anchored in oneness. Now, how does this initiative align with India's national education and skill development? Rather, the academy aligns seamlessly with the India's Skill India and Study in India missions. It provides global employability while promoting cultural awareness. It also complements the National Education Policy NEP 2020 emphasis on holistic learning, multilingualism, and international collaboration. Gurudev says educational institutions, including Srish University and now this academy, embody NEP's spirit of merging modernity with morality. The Sansthan works closely with education authorities to ensure that the program adheres to Vedic principles while supporting national goals. It serves as a living example of Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India, where youth carry Indian values wherever they go. Through this, India exports not just manpower but Manav Sanskar or refined human consciousness. Now, what is the spiritual symbolism of inaugurating this academy on Guru Purab? Guru Purab celebrates the light of wisdom dispelling darkness. Inaugurating the academy on this day signifies that learning is a sacred act guided by divine grace. Gurudev linked Japan to Japa teaching that a true education is repetition of awareness. Just as Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, Japo ek naam, chant the one name. Gurudev says, chant the one humanity. The academy thus becomes a prayer in motion, a celebration of learning as devotion. In the Vedic tradition, any auspicious work begins under the Guru's guidance. Guru Pura magnifies that energy manifold. The Sansthan sees this as a symbolic of a new dawn, where education becomes a modern japa and students a new sadhakas. It's not merely an inauguration, it's an initiation into global dharma. Jagadish, so finally, what message do you wish to give to the youth of India and Japan to this initiative? Gurudev's message is simple yet profound. Learn, serve, and celebrate. To the youth of both nations, we say use education not as a ladder of competition but as a bridge of connection. Let language become your meditation, service your mission, and friendship your foundation. When hearts unite through learning, every border dissolves. The Sansansa's message echoes the Upanishads. Uttishta Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodhayata. Arise, awake, and learn from the wise. Let every youth become a torchbearer of peace, embodying the discipline of Japan and the devotion of Bharat. This initiative is not the end but the beginning, the dawn of a new era of cultural enlightenment where Japa and Japan together lead the world toward harmony. Jagadev.